here we are subtracting, sorry, I forgot to put the brackets here, polynomials, so an expression with more than one term. What is the very first step? What's the first thing you need to remove and get rid of to simplify this? Okay, we need to get rid of the brackets. So for the first part of the expression, there's nothing in front of the bracket, right? There's nothing there. Oops. Because there's nothing in front of the bracket, I can just remove the bracket. So I'm just going to rewrite this without brackets. 5x squared minus 3xy plus 9y squared. Okay, so now the next part of this expression, Eric, is subtract everything inside the bracket. So if I'm taking away everything inside the bracket, I'm taking away a negative 4x squared. You're multiplying everything by negative 1. You can put a 1 there. A negative 1. So negative times a negative is equal to what? So this becomes plus 4x squared. A lot of you just messed up on the signs here because you forgot to distribute this negative. The next one would be a negative times a positive is a, what's a negative times a positive? Negative. And then the last one would be a negative, because there's a negative in front of the bracket. Negative times a positive is negative 3y squared. I've now removed the brackets. That's the first step. Remove brackets. We need to now collect, collect the like terms. And this is where a lot of you went wrong. You cannot add terms together that have different exponents. So the first step here is to identify which terms are alike. Okay, look here please. We have a 5x squared term. Let's start with the first term. Any other term have an x squared?
Yeah.
Which one?
The 4x squared.
Is there any other term that has x squared?
No.
So you cannot add anything else together. You can only add together the 5x squared and the positive, the 4x squared. I can't add any of these other terms together, okay? No. Negative 3xy is my next term in order. Right? So we have a negative, we have xy. Which other term here only has xy? Positive or negative?
Negative.
Okay, so that's the next thing I'm going to write. I'm going to write negative 3xy, and I'm going to write negative 2xy. I can combine those terms together. I'm combining my like terms. Then we have what? We have a positive 9y squared. Are there any other terms here that have just the y and the squared, y squared? Positive or negative? Good, so now I can put these together. Positive 9y squared and negative 3y squared. Okay, so now that we've collected the like terms, this is really long. Now that I've grouped my like terms together, I want to make this expression shorter. I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to take my like terms and I'm going to add them or subtract them, whatever the sign is. So the first one is 5x squared plus 4x squared. What's 5x squared plus 4x squared? What's next? Get the next part. So it's negative 3xy, take away 2xy is... And then the last part, positive or negative. A lot of you, again, I noticed when I was marking this, were forgetting your signs. What's 9 take away 3? 6y squared. What? I have to include the sign. 9 take away 3 is positive 6. How do we know that this is the answer? We're done. None of these terms are like terms. I have an x squared term, I have an xy term, and I have a y squared term. I have all three different terms. You can't add terms together that don't have the same variable and same exponent.